young people especially are not understanding the importance of having a network. And that's how you get mentors too, right? So young people
Yep.
are understanding the importance of having mentors to engage with, right? And they don't have to be a formal, yes, you're my mentor. Not, it is people that you can maybe ask some questions of from time to time.
Hmm.
That there's different levels of mentorship, right? And
For
so
sure.
having that in your life is important, right? And then all too often in tech, young people think that careers in tech are just about the tech. Communication is equally important. In fact, lots of the C's, right? Communication, collaboration, creativity, those things are equally important
Mm.
as learning the tech itself, right? And so I can't tell you how many times I've seen just in my career. I spent 19 years as a software engineer before founding Code Crew with Audrey and Petya. I can't tell you how many times in my career then and now in this role have I seen people who are brilliant technically but don't know how to engage with
Mm.
people.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Business of Learning podcast. My guest here today is Meka Egwuekwe, who is the CEO of Code Crew. Meka, welcome.
Thank you so much. Honored to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you here. Tell everyone a little bit more what Code Crew is all about, who you guys help, and yeah, some information about the business.
Sure, sure. So, Code Crew, we are a Memphis-based nonprofit social impact organization that teaches AI and computer science to kids and adults.
Hmm.
And we're doing that with the idea that we're trying to get algorithms on their menus before they're on the menus of the algorithms, uh, as I jokingly say, but very seriously say as well, right?
Yeah.
And we do that directly by sending teachers directly into schools to teach AI and computer science. Kids
Hmm.
take coding and computer science and AI like they would a music or a French class.
Hmm.
But we also train adults directly to become AI and software engineers and get them placed in jobs that quadruple their incomes. And
Hmm.
we train teachers elsewhere to teach computer science in schools. And then we've been successful at the state level here in Tennessee on the policy front for computer science
Hmm.
education, including making
Awesome.
computer science a high school graduation requirement.
For sure, for sure. And I know we've had a brief conversation about this entire thing, but for anyone who might not be clear, are you strictly working in the Tennessee area or also a national level?
Well, we aspire to be national. We've done work, of course, here in Tennessee, but in Arkansas, Mississippi, which are neighboring states as well. But and we've dipped our toe in those directions there. But no, absolutely, we think we have a lot. Not only are we proud of what we accomplished, but we think we have a
Hmm.
lot to offer the rest of the country when it comes to bringing high quality computer science education to every child in every school in every grade and to every
Hmm.
adult who wants a career in this space.
Awesome, so cool. And I actually, the thing that you mentioned, which you said, jokingly talking about that, I think it's actually such a real issue that people often overlook because there is so much distraction nowadays for every single. I don't think even just youth mainly, but adults as well, right? It's just everything is trying to grab our attention, and it just takes away the focus from other things that could actually be functional for our lives. So, have you seen that? When you guys are coming into school and helping the youth, but also helping individuals to get the training to find a new job, have you found that they start to replace, I guess, that distraction with a newfound passion that they can see for their own lives?
Well, I describe it like this: that young people, the light bulb goes off for them
Mm,
that this area of being a producer in tech that they may have self-selected out of because
mm,
they thought it was for someone else. The light bulb goes off that, hey, this isn't that hard after all. This isn't rocket science. Hey, I can actually do this. Hey, I can
yeah.
actually be expressive and creative, and take ideas that I have and turn them into tech realities. So
Mm.
find that a lot, right? And then on the flip side, we do see some kids who see that, hey, I really don't want to do this. I don't enjoy coding and computer science and AI and all those things. I don't want to do this, but that's good too because
Yeah, exactly.
they're making an informed decision instead of just
Hmm.
assuming that it's just for, quite frankly, just for white and Asian males, which is the stereotype. Too
Hmm.
many people who are white and Asian male believe that, and too many people who are not white and Asian male believe that.
Mm.
So how do we convince young people of all persuasions and backgrounds that this isn't
Hmm.
rocket science? They have a role to play if
Yeah.
they're interested. Now they're making an informed decision.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's such a huge key with anything as well. It says, hey, don't make choices because people told you it's this way or because you have this preconceived notion of it. Is here's all the information. Here's everything you have to know about this. Do you want it? Do you like it? Amazing, go for it. But if not, amazing as well. You can actually focus on something else that you enjoy. So
Right.
that's such an amazing part of that as well. Meka, talk to me a little bit more about, as you guys were growing the organization and becoming what you are today. What were some of the things that some of the challenges along the way, and how are they different from maybe some of the challenges that you guys face now to keep that growth coming?
Sure, sure. So some of the early challenges are that we started in May of 2015, and so we're about to be 10 years old, and we the challenge of getting a nonprofit off the ground are those challenges in general, right? But starting to change the narrative with respect to who
Hmm.
can do computer science and so forth, and who should have it, and those kinds of things. Those are early challenges for us, right?
Hmm.
Even to the getting to the point where we got this. Partner with the governor's office and some other partners to get computer science to be a statewide high school graduation requirement. Um, you know, there were voices that said, "Well, why should every high school have computer science, and why should every so those kinds of challenges were there. Of course, growing this any nonprofit is like any other business too, right? Money is the lifeblood for
Hmm.
sustainability, and so obviously we have those challenges too, right? And the differences now is that like I said, we no longer have the debate about should every child have
Hmm.
quality computer science education. We no longer have the debate around whether or not it makes sense for young people who may have made different choices
Hmm.
early, but now as young adults, they should have pathways into workforce development and tech, right?
Yeah.
Those aren't debates anymore, right? Um, People see that value. The challenges now that we encounter are aligned to the impact of things like AI. And what does that mean um, for K-12 education? What does that mean for workforce development? There are some who advocate that, well, we don't need to teach computer science in schools anymore because the AI can do it all. And I remind them that we need to be teaching computer science in schools because it's not just about coding, right? It's
Hmm.
about solving problems in 21st century ways. Computational thinking is what we actually teach,
Hmm.
not coding per se. Coding is just a
Yeah.
vehicle through which we that is expressed. And so
Hmm.
so those debates are happening now. Those debates around AI and whether or not people should be training up to be producers of tech. It's short-sighted, in my opinion, to just rely on AI to build all tech. Right, that people still need to understand tech if we
Hmm.
want to have a future where tech is optimized for humans
Yeah.
in the long run. So those are some of the challenges that we face now, and of course,
Hmm.
with the adults in particular, the young adults that we train for workforce development, is helping employers understand what their needs are now,
Hmm.
and not. I mean, they know what their needs are, but at the same time, we're trying to get them to think futuristically with respect to their needs. Uh,
Hmm.
that the kind of talent we produce is still valuable to them.
Yeah, 1000%. And I think you mentioned a key point there as well. Is like, hey, yes, the AI can do the coding, but who has the skill set to be able to verify that that coding is actually even correct as well? It's like there has to be an overlooking material, an overlooking person, a person that's overlooking the entire project to see, hey, this is actually at least good code or bad code. Yes, AI can help facilitate the process, but if there's no skill to understand if the code is good or how to improve it or what to fix, what to change, then that's meaningless anyways. And there's always going to be those hiccups in no matter what, I think.
And some are pushing back to say, well, the AI can check the AI, right? And there's some truth in that too, right? But the buck has got to stop somewhere in terms of
Yeah.
technology being useful to humans. There's still a human in the loop factor there, right?
Hmm.
The Wild West right now. We're all trying to figure out, well, what does this look like? What does this all mean, right? But we're making predictions in that regard that
Hmm.
that with respect to the human in the loop, and
Hmm.
making sure we're skilling up our students to be ready to
Hmm.
step in and bring value to employers.
Yeah.
Many employers don't even know what to do there, and our students will be trained in ways that many of their own employees don't have yet, right? So,
Yeah.
so, uh,
For
so
sure, and you mentioned the individuals that are obviously possibly going into a lot of these organizations and showing these companies that, hey, this is someone that's ready to take over this position and lead in this position. How do those individuals usually find out about you guys and this opportunity for them to have this forward look in their career path?
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people find out about us by word of mouth, right? That we've been around since 2015. We've been training adults since 2018. Training and mentoring them. Much of it is word of mouth, especially when they hear about, okay, well, I just landed this job that I'm making 5 times as much as I used to, right?
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
so there's that. There is great relationships that we have forged with the local media, especially, right? And
Mm.
so we've had a fair amount of attention in television locally, right? For example, as well as in print media.
Hmm.
Uh, it has been. We've also had a fair amount of attention in the national and international media as well,
Yeah.
from the Chicago Tribune to the BBC, and in addition to all of that, it is we make a heavy use of social media.
Hmm. As you should. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and so social media has it's like fire, right? It can cook your food for you, or it can burn you to death, right? Right. So it's got its ups and downs, right? But we we use it for we use those powers for good, if you will, for
Hmm.
sharing the word about what we do.
Yeah, and for those individuals that are going through that training, would you see that as you mentioned? Obviously, the goal is to expand nationally, be able to impact as many people as possible. Would you see that side of, I guess, the organization as maybe the highest leverage opportunity to start expanding and training people all over the U.S. as well, as opposed to more of a closer area to where you guys operate?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, the way we do our training. I mean, now, granted, there's lots of online options for people out there today.
Hmm.
But we ask the question for certain groups, who may not have the best online access, or all kinds of issues that they may be dealing with personally. Is there a group of people? Does the math such that there are a group of people that uh, who best learn from direct engagement, right?
Hmm.
And so we employ that model locally, but we found that a hybrid model actually
Hmm.
it could quite well be effective for us. And so yes, our engagement in other cities as we stand up that workforce development
Hmm.
will probably first look like an instructor that's still here locally as part of our team, but doing instruction by way of using online
Hmm.
like what we're using right now, right?
Yeah.
And coupling that with local teaching assistants
Hmm.
who may be college students and others in tech that may be in the room with these students
Hmm.
while they're doing it. So
Hmm.
it is. We make heavy use of teaching assistants, both for the adults and for the kids that we do. We would not exist if it weren't for a good number of college students and graduates from our own program who give of their time. And well, I should say
Hmm.
we pay them, but they commit to this work. And so
Sure.
a hybrid model like that is where we can
Uh-huh.
see our expansion for the workforce development actually start
Mm,
to take off.
I see. Interesting. And out of curiosity, let's say someone from New York comes to you guys and they're like, "Hey, I'm really interested. Is there a possibility for them to also just do the online without the hybrid since they aren't really close to where you are? Or how would that work?"
So that's a great question. So as of right now, no,
Mhm.
but that's not off the table, right?
Mm,
I will say that our heart is in parts of the country where there have been fewer opportunities. We
mm,
believe that talent uh, pops up universally everywhere, right? But opportunity and access to these opportunities does not, right? In a place like New York or a place like San Francisco, there are lots of options. In fact, I can. If
sure.
someone reached out to us from New York right now, I'd point them to the Knowledge House, which is a great program out of the Bronx, right?
Hmm.
But our heart is in those overlooked underdog places where
Hmm.
talent is being is not being cultivated, quite frankly. And so what we do look like in places like Memphis, where we're based, but also New Orleans or Birmingham or Atlanta, especially Atlanta south of I-20, or
Mm,
St. Louis, or places like that may have some things but could use more. Whereas
hmm.
New York and San Francisco, they have dozens of options, right?
Hmm.
So this is part of a narrative around building a better, stronger America, by ensuring that we're digging deep enough into our bench as a nation
Mm.
for connecting talent to opportunity. And so,
Mm.
so starting in those overlooked places, perhaps in the South and then the Midwest, and then outwards to the coast, is a strategy
Hmm.
that I think we can contribute most to a more successful and prosperous America.
Interesting. So is the goal in that case to have that hybrid model, but then be working with those areas locally? So there's the I guess the online aspect of what you guys do and who you are and the people that you already employ, but finding maybe partners in those areas of like, hey, we can connect to build this together and help the people that are locally to Atlanta, to Birmingham, to whatever else.
That's right. It's
Mm.
always been a partnership perspective, right, in that
Mm.
regard.
That
So
makes sense.
it is, we don't believe in just hanging a sign to say Code Crew is here, right? Go up and see the value.
Even though
No,
you are, even though you,
nor do we want to be duplicative of opportunities that are in these places, right? We want to
sure.
partner and be a complementary, need being filled, right, there in this regard. So absolutely, in Memphis we do it with barbecue sauce. In New Orleans we're doing it with gumbo, right? I mean, it's the
Hmm.
heartbeat where there's a need, and the partners who understand the community
Mm.
and the buy-in is always been our philosophy. And we partner with
Hmm.
a number of organizations around the country too.
Yeah.
So we already have relationships in most of this country's cities, and
Hmm.
and increasingly in rural areas as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I wanted to ask you when it comes to the process that you're going through. Is obviously it takes work to be able to develop all these things and find these partnerships and get these opportunities coming through the door, and then obviously ultimately reaching the impact to as many people as possible. What do you think are some of the mistakes that usual youth or maybe even adults make when they are trying to learn what you guys are providing that doesn't allow them to achieve the results, I guess, in the usual sense? So maybe they've tried training elsewhere, they've tried YouTube, they've tried all these things, but they keep taking the wrong actions as opposed to looking at it and trying to learn the right way.
Yeah. So I'm a huge proponent of, even if you're an introvert, figuring out how to turn on your extroversion at least while your battery can support it, right?
Handle it,
And
yeah.
then go back and recharge and do it again. I mean,
Sure.
your connections with respect to your network, it's a huge mistake to not be connected to others in this
Hmm.
space. So if in your town if there are meetups and so forth, just show up at those things. Even just listen to start, and then get to where you're confident enough to actually engage. But understand that you're not a vacuum, right? So networking, young people especially, are not understanding the importance of having a network, and that's how you get mentors too, right? So young people
Yep.
are understanding the importance of having mentors to engage with, right? And they don't have to be uh, a formal, yes, you're my mentor. Not, it is you know it is people that you can maybe ask some questions of from time to time.
Hmm.
That there's different levels of mentorship, right? And
For
so
sure.
having that in your life is important, right? And then all too often in tech, young people think that careers in tech are just about the tech. Uh, Communication is equally important. Right? In fact, lots of the C's, right? Communication, collaboration, creativity, those things are equally important
Mm.
as learning the tech itself, right? And so I can't tell you how many times I've seen just in my career. I spent 19 years as a software engineer before founding Code Crew with Audrey and Petya. Um, I can't tell you how many times in my career then and now in this role have I seen uh, people who are brilliant technically, but but don't know how to engage with
Mm.
people,
They
don't
lack the
know
other skills.
don't understand the business case for why we're doing things in tech, and so that
Hmm.
big picture understanding is vitally important, and being able to express that to others is vitally
Hmm.
important. Right? So those are the things that come to mind to me: the
Yeah.
networking, the mentoring, the
Hmm.
the communications, creativity, critical thinking, right?
Yeah.
All
I,
those foundational.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think it's specifically you mentioned like the recharge button, like that's so key because from everything that we have nowadays, again, it's just so much distraction. Everything is online that at least from my perspective, and I believe you share the same perspective, people just don't go out anymore, especially the youth. Like you don't see them networking or just getting around community like-minded communities, or around people that are have the same interests. So I really like the how you highlighted just literally going there. Sometimes it's just listening. You don't have to engage, and then just build that up as it goes, because it can lead you to where you want to be. Even if you don't know where that is yet, you will at least find out. So I think that's such a key point. And you said the word mentors. Is there any specific, maybe one or two lessons from your mentors along the way that really impacted you, and kind of like you hold together or tightly to yourself?
Oh wow, yeah, my so and I do have mentors. Um, so so I'm an introvert, right? So that lesson I spoke about, being able to turn on the extroversion, that's insight from my own
Good
mentors.
for you. Hmm.
I'm just passing the chain,
Yeah.
right? That's been tremendously helpful to me, right? It's being introspective also, especially as the more
Hmm.
you're into this space as a career, the more and more you're going to find yourself in leadership roles, right? And so the introspection of how, in the spirit of continuous improvement, like any software engineer believes, right? Uh, uh, how to be more effective with respect to my collaborations and engagements and
Hmm.
ultimately leadership of others, right? My mentors have been tremendously helpful with. And then, I one of the things that, again, I'm super analytical, right? I did the Clifton Strengths twice, and analytical was number one for me on that, right? But
Hmm.
I have come to, thanks to my mentors, understand the power of stories, and if you're in the business of persuasion, right, which we all should be in at some level or another, right?
Hmm.
How important it is to recognize how that stories mean a lot. We as human beings evolved on stories before there was even writing. and so
Yeah.
um, and so they're still tremendously impactful. So when I tell the story of Code Crew, I often tell the story of Autumn, who was 23 years old, a college dropout, landed a job making six figures as a software engineer, or Maya, who was 27 years old with three kids on Section 8 housing, uh, having multiple job offers that paid well, and herself making six figures, and then teaching after school program at her kids'
Mm.
school in tech, right? And so, or people like Ray, who again was a software engineer coming out of our program, but then got the bug to actually lift as he climbs, and actually, so he spent a few years as a software engineer, but then decided to become an instructor with us.
Mm.
So it is, and that's just the adults, not to mention
Yeah.
we serve who win the Congressional App Challenge and all kinds of things that they do, and with their great ideas. And so, uh,
Hmm.
my mentors have helped me understand that, and that's so applicable regardless of industry, right? Just like
Yeah.
undergirds every industry, stories undergird every industry too. So,
Yeah, 1 million%, 1 million%. I think it's so key as well. And I heard this week. I can't remember exactly what it was, or who said it, but they were saying, obviously stories are powerful and everybody understands that, but there's a reason behind it. If you just say, hey, yeah, they are this person and they just were able to achieve that, it's like that's not very powerful. But they're this person, and this is everything that they went through, and here are all the challenges, and here's as they were going through what they had to make up for it and what they had to figure out for themselves, and then after they were able to do all these things, then they achieve it. We're like, oh, I can relate to that, as opposed to just here is this person and then here's what they achieved. So
right.
I think it's so awesome. It's so awesome to have the teachings and the stories, but also the relatableness and the resonance with people in that way as well. And then, Meka, I have one final question here for you.
Sure.
And it's actually not a question from me. It's a question from our last guest to you. And they had no idea who you were.
Okay.
So, ready for the question?
Sure.
The question is, what's the number one thing that is keeping you up at night right now?
The number one thing that's keeping me up at night right now. Well, literally right now, it is, like I mentioned, we're knocking on 10 years old as an organization, right? We're dreaming about the next 10 years.
Mm,
And, of course, 10 years is a long time. We've seen a lot change in just the past 10 years. So it's almost impossible to predict exactly where we'll be in the next 10 years, right? But
hmm.
what are the steps in that direction such that we are dreaming, envisioning, and preparing, right?
Yeah.
Next 18 months, next 3 years, next 5 years, next 10 years. Right? So that's what's top of mind to me. It is how does Code Crew evolve such that we are staying still true to our missions, true to our vision, but relevant to the young people that need these skills, right? But then also to employers who need talent, to a world that's increasingly digital, and ensuring that whether a child or a young adult pursues a career in tech or not, they still have the benefits of computational thinking, like pattern recognition and decomposition of large problems into smaller ones, and algorithms, and understanding, those things,
Hmm.
because it still helps them across their subject matter, no matter what they do, right? So how do we stay true to those foundational principles in a world now where um, the tech in our lives feels like it's on steroids, even though it's not, because tomorrow is going to be even more.
Yeah.
And especially impact of things like AI, impact of things like that are coming, like quantum computing, right? The impact of
Yeah.
things like robotics and uh, augmented reality and computer vision and all these different things. So that's what keeps me up at night, is making sure that we stay nimble and relevant and fulfilling the mission and vision.
Hmm.
The secondary thing that keeps me up at night is what anybody who runs a business, be it nonprofit or for profit, and that is making sure the lifeblood continues in terms of
Hmm.
funding and revenue, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, our direction, our strategy is what's top of
Mm.
mind to me.
I like that. I like that. I always I love to hear someone who is obviously focusing on what's happening right now, but beyond that, looking at the long term vision. How can we prepare? How can we stay on top of mind? How can we be the organization that we want to be by acting now based on the goals that we have in the future? So that's awesome. Meka, thank you so
Acting,
much. Oh, go
and I'll
ahead.
just add, just acting in a way that that we influence the direction of technology too. We don't want
Hmm.
technology to just happen to us or happen to people, right?
Mm.
But we have a say with respect to how it is. And so when it comes to many that, there's a lot of great things about AI, and there's a lot of challenging things about AI, like bias and privacy and security, right? How
Yeah.
do we make sure that those things, those matters of ethics, stay on the table too, right?
Mm.
And so we have a role to play in terms of impact and influence, and then ensure, again, how do we do that? What does our direction look like, and how do we still achieve America achieving its greatness through digging into its bench? So I
Yeah.
can go on and on about that.
I know.
I'm passionate about this work,
It's
and
all good.
I'm
It's all good.
definitely
Yeah.
honored and appreciate the opportunity to share the gospel of AI and computer education today.
Yeah, 1000% make it. Thank you so much for your time. This has been such a great, insightful conversation. Where should people go if they want to learn a little bit more about you or maybe a little bit more about Code Crew?
Sure. Well, to learn about Code Crew, go to code-crew.org. That's code-crew.org. Or follow us on social media. We're on all the platforms. You can usually find us at _ Code Crew. And, no dashes there in that case. And so certainly you can find us. You can learn more about me. I'm certainly on LinkedIn, but also have a website called makeadifference.com. Meka is my first name. When I was a software engineer, there was a joke in the office that since my name is Meka, right, it's like make a cake, make a website, So I decided to do a play on that and call it Make a
Make a
Difference.
difference. I like that.
So
I
it's
like that.
MEKA difference.com, right?
Awesome.
Want to learn more about me as well. So that's how to connect.
Amazing. Meka, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much as well. Really appreciate the opportunity and looking forward to chatting again further.